call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Belsley.
Here.
Blunier. Hare. Lehman.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Kaufman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public hearings tonight, but we do have some presentations. And the first presentation is a very, I was informed this is a big deal. We all know Morton Unit School District is one of the top-ranked school districts in the state. But I got a phone call, and we have a Morton student who is one of the top school innovators in the state of Illinois, one of 6 students. So I'd like to have Daniel Mueller come forward and the principal, Michael Growley. And Michael, and I'd ask the council to read the proclamation.
Whereas Daniel Mueller has been recognized by Millikan University, Illinois State University, and Pontiac Township High School for the Celebrating High School Innovators Awards Program. And whereas test scores and grade point averages do not tell us every important thing about our students, and because motivation, creativity, and tenacity to innovate are essential to our society. And whereas Millikan University, Illinois State University, and Pontiac Township High School have created the awards program to recognize and celebrate those top students in the state of Illinois whose contributions are innovative, creative, or inspirational. And whereas it is important to our community, our state, our country, and our world to recognize innovation and to encourage innovation in our school systems. And whereas Daniel Mueller has illustrated his enterprising and innovative approach to work through developing his online science and chemistry tutorial videos for students and citizens. And whereas Daniel Mueller was selected as one of only 7 students throughout the state of Illinois to receive this prestigious recognition. And whereas the Village of Morton is proud to recognize Daniel Mueller as an outstanding contributor to the Village of Morton. Now, therefore, Mayor Kaufman, along with the Village Board, proclaims the following: that Daniel Mueller be and is hereby officially commended for his outstanding service in the field of innovation, that this proclamation be presented to him to serve as a reminder that through his perseverance and work ethic, he has made a valuable contribution to our community, our state, and our world, that a copy of this proclamation be made a part of the official records of the Village of Morton.
And I have this proclamation, Daniel, here from the Village of Morton into the high school, and we're hoping they can hang it in the high school in your honor. So, and I'd like to read to you what the gentleman that I got a phone call from, the professor at Millikan University. He says, Daniel Mueller is science, technology, engineering, math, innovation, online science and chemistry, tutorial videos, and students of citizens. He goes, Jeff, this is a big deal. And so I'd like to read what he wrote me. He goes, innovation is critical in the future of Illinois, and we need more people like these exceptional students in every field. These students remind us of what can be accomplished with a good ideal and firm commitment. Their ideas will help shape the world around them, and I look forward to what else they'll do in the coming years. Signed, CHSI Director Paul Ritter, who, by the way, has won the 2014 White House Presidential Award for Innovation. So I think he knows what he's talking about. So.
Thank you, Jeff. At Morton High School, we are certainly proud of Daniel and his accomplishments. He is certainly one of our best and brightest students, and with the receiving of this award and the scholarship that went along with it, you can understand why We are so proud of him, and we're lucky we get to hold on to him for one more year, senior year next year. So we're excited about that, and certainly excited to see where he's going to be heading in his future. He is going to represent not only Morton High School very well, but also the town of Morton too. So we're very proud of you. We'd be happy to hang that in the high school in your honor and recognizing your accomplishments thus far. So congratulations. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Kate Fritz. She's one of our science teachers, a chemistry teacher at the high school, and she has a few words she'd like to share with you in behalf of Daniel.
Hi, I've been teaching chemistry at the high school for a couple of years now, and the best part of being at Morton High School is getting to work with such exceptional students. And I think Daniel is a great example of the best at an amazing school. And knowing him for just a few weeks his sophomore year, you could see that he has the soul of a true scientist, someone who's going to go places and do amazing things, and I can't wait to see the person that he becomes. You definitely deserve this award, and congratulations, Daniel.
All right. This is a plaque and award that goes along with the scholarship that Daniel received to Daniel Mueller. This is, again, celebrating high school innovators across the state. And again, he was one of 7 recognized through innovation. And I believe they're still available online. If people are interested and want to see what you've put together and learn a little bit more about some chemistry, they can go there, and maybe you can share some of that information where they can locate that information. But congratulations, Daniel. Job well done. We're very proud of you.
We're not done. I figure you have your own desk by now, so we have the first one we're going to give out. We have congratulations, and it has the emblem of Morton, established 1830, Top High School Innovator of the Year Award, Daniel Mueller from the Village of Morton. Quite the honor, and it's nice to see the young men like this will be great citizens anywhere they go and represent us well. So thanks again. Oh, yes. And they were supposed to deliver a sign today. I was expecting a little bit smaller. But here, Daniel, you get up here for the picture. So we have a sign we'll be hanging here in the village. Might end up at the high school eventually, you know. So thank you, Daniel. Thanks to the parents for their support. A lot of good things are happening in Morton, and we try to find any excuse we can to push the Morton brand, as like Daniel here, and the Morton Band has won a prestigious award, the John Philip Sousa Sudler Shield Award, which is an international award, and I've been told 35,000 teams applied for it. Only 4 teams won it worldwide, and Morton was one of them. So I'd like to ask the band directors, Jeff Never, Patrick McNary, to come up here. And then we're going to ask council to read the proclamation.
Whereas the Morton High School Marching Band has been recognized by the John Philip Sousa Foundation with the Sudler Shield Award. And whereas the Sudler Shield Award is an international award recognizing high school, youth, and international marching bands of world-class excellence. And whereas the Sudler Shield Award is an eternal designation which can only be received once by a school under a director's tenure and is the highest award given to a high school marching band program. And whereas the Morton High School Marching Band has been the state of Illinois Class 2A champion for 13 years in a row, along with many championships and accolades. And whereas the Village of Morton is proud of the accomplishments of the Morton High School Band. Now therefore, be it resolved by President Kaufman, along with the Morton Village Board of Trustees, commend the high school marching band for its achievements and for the dedication of its director and students.
And we also have a proclamation here for you to hang in the school. And I want you to know this seal is something new, the gold seal, and we found the old seal machine in the village. And the staff knows I like antiques, so it's in the mayor's office. And so we got it to work on these two proclamations. So why don't you come over here, we're gonna have a picture. Anybody that wants a picture here? So, and we're a grateful community. It's quite talented of the students. When we attended 5 Points for their program, we've seen the marching bands, but yet to be separated, it was like an orchestra to me, all the going on. You saw the real talent of each student. And again, those students are going to be fine examples of Morton in college and when they move back to Morton, hopefully. And if they go elsewhere, they're going to represent us well. But it's quite a commitment of the staff, the family, the school board, and the community for their support. So I'd like to introduce the principal and let him say a few words.
Thanks again, Jeff. This is my first year at Morton High School as the building principal, and coming in, I knew the reputation of the marching band and the band program. My own children were in marching band at another regional high school, and so the reputation certainly, preceded it. I had no idea how great it truly was until I got into the building. It was I think I started in July. Met these guys. They were in the midst of band camp. They had, 190 some kids running around the building. I thought, oh my goodness, what did I get into here? They invited me down to hear them. They're putting the piece together that ended up being the music for their show. They were practicing in the gym, and they're just practicing. Now, mind you, they're just learning this music. And I went in there and heard it for the first time and was blown away by not only the difficulty of the music that they were performing, but the quality at which it was performed in a practice session in a gym in the middle of summer. So if any of you had the opportunity to experience the halftime show during the season, either at the home game or one of the competitions, I think you would have been equally impressed at just the showmanship, the musicianship, and just the dedication that those students put into the music and the performance. And it's the work of these gentlemen and their staff that hopefully we'll get a chance to introduce them to. They got the very best out of these kids. It was truly one of the best performances I've ever seen in terms of a marching band. And so on top of that, Mr. Maneri invited me. He said, oh, you haven't experienced it till you get to the top of the press box. Go to the top of the press box, sneak up there early, and when they turn around, and boy, when the brass section turned around and hit their first note, it just almost blew me off the top of the press box. It was truly, yes, you're invited up. We'll be careful. We'll make sure you're very careful. We'll tether you down. So, but no, it was a great experience, and they set a very high bar, and truly, deserving of this award. And they're going to be very humble, and they're going to, pass the thanks and praise to the kids that came before, and certainly that's the case. But these guys right here put a lot of time and effort in their staff, and again, well deserved. So.
When I got to sit down, I got to sit in the fourth row at that last event, and I have to tell you, I got to sit behind the visiting conductor that gave the award out, the Sudler's Shield, Dale Warren. Interesting man, but to get that close to see him conduct a class, it was amazing. All of you, but for somebody that didn't know the kids that good, it was sensational. So you definitely need to go to the Park Pavilion and have a concert. I found out today, to put a little pressure on you, we only used it 6 times last year. And I think when you go to the football games, you get to see the marching, but it's almost like a concert performance there. I mean, both talents is just amazing. He made the comment that I think in 2000, there were 60 kids in the band, and today there's almost 200. So 20% of the kids in Morton High School are in the band. He said that statistic alone blows any other school out of the water. And he goes, it's unheard of. And he said, quite honestly, they shouldn't even be able to perform at this level. So it was astounding and quite impressive. They had all their trophies on the stage. It was an impressive event. So congratulations to both of you. So why don't you introduce your staff?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we have some awards.
Okay, thank you. I just want to thank everyone for inviting us to be here tonight. We're incredibly blessed that we've had so much success and so much support in this community. It's been wonderful to have Michael here with us this year. There weren't any other high school principals standing at the state competition fist bumping every single kid as they came off the field. That was fantastic. And from the beginning, Michael came in and met with the kids at leadership before we even started the season. We have the support that we have, yourself and Scott Jones coming out to the field to see the kids during rehearsals, coming into the classroom. That's pretty special. And we've been very fortunate to have Patrick Maneri with us for the last several years. It's been so helpful to me to have another person in that office. And one of the great things that makes Morton special is some of the people that I want to bring up today, we've been together for 17 years. So that's somewhat unheard of within our activity to have a group of people that work together for that long in one program. So I'd like to bring up Bob Hornsby, who does our battery percussion. Katrina Fitzpatrick, who does our woodwinds and also is our junior high feeder. Craig Fitzpatrick is brass and also does the arrangements of all the music. He's our composer. And tonight, Brian Spickelmeyer and Aaron Hawks couldn't make it. They both had previous engagements, but I'd like to thank them too for all of their work this year.
I'm an implant into Morton. I actually grew up in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, and my wife got a job at ISU. And so when I came into the state, it was immediate that the band program over here was something. What I say is that it's completely unique and should not exist. Like Jeff was saying, in our career field, this is just unheard of. I love advocating for our students, and I love advocating for all of our fine arts programs, and I'm just beyond proud of our staff. Both Bob and Katrina are Morton graduates, and so to be back in the schools, like you said, coming home after college and teaching the kids and building that next generation, it's just incredible. So he's not too far away. He was a Washington kid, so yeah, and of course Jeff graduated as well from the high school. So it's just such a hometown vibe inside of our band program, and I think the kids really appreciate that, and it's just bled throughout the community, and we guys can't thank you guys for all the support. I mean, it's just incredible. So thanks so much.
All right, don't go anywhere. We have a award from the village here for a new paperweight for your desk. It's the John Philip Sousa Foundation, the Sudler Shield Award with Morton Band's emblem in the middle. An international award recognizing high school, youth, and international marching bands of world-class excellence, because this is world-class. Getting to sit by Dale Warren, the conductor, he goes, Jeff, I travel all over the world and to teams in Australia, Canada, wherever they win, he goes to give the award. And he got to come to Morton, Illinois and give an award. So we have one of these for each one of you. I've told the principal when I visit him in his office the next time, I expect to see it on his desk. Because, did I not? You did. And I have one for the superintendent because it's part of Morton brands. Craig Laudermilk took a picture of me and the governor talking. The first time is Morton, and the governor didn't get to talk because I gave him my talking points. And so part of my talking points is Daniel Mueller and the bands. It's part of the Morton brand now. Our students are coming to the plate and doing incredible things, and we should brag about them. So we have one of these for each one of us. Yeah, thanks for talking.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I have one for you. Okay?
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
We appreciate it.
And don't forget, you gotta take that off.
Jeff, let me help with whatever I can. You got it.
It's not very often we get to cover a table with awards. It's a great night, and we're not done yet.
We'll keep coming back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It really is a great honor, and what an evening. It was a class act. Now, Police Chief, you want to come forward, and we'll do some more honoring of our Morton citizens.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Here, I can get mine out of the way so you don't get them mixed up.
You'll be fine.
You want it in a yellow highlighter? I got it in yellow highlighter.
I have my own, but no, I'm not going to do that. Six. I just need 6 of them right now. The others aren't here. Back in 2004, the president started a volunteer service award, and we've had members of our auxiliary police force win this award every year since. It's for those volunteers that give a 100 hours or more every year in volunteer hours. Our auxiliary puts in a lot more hours than that, but some of it they're paid for. But during the course of 2017, our auxiliary put in 1,810 hours and 3/4 of an hour of volunteer service time. And we have 6 of the membership here today that received the award. There are additional 2 that were unable to attend. That is Todd Glasscock. He had 132.25 hours, and Jacob Selke, he had 103.5 hours of service awards. So the members that are present, if they could come up as I read them, Tony Dubois, who had 100 hours, is here. Roger Evans had 118.5 hours. Nick Gilmore had 112.75 hours. Joe Stidman had 170 hours. Steven Tyler, and not from the band, had 145 hours. And Bob Willis, who's the elder statesman of the organization, he's been on since 1982, had 129 hours. Again, they had just over 1,800 hours as a group, which is, again, speaks to our community and what the members of our community do for us, in addition to what we just saw with the youth. The amount of time that they put in for us saves us probably 5 officers on the department, so we appreciate everything they do for us. Volunteer can be from the training that they do, weather spotters. They're our first alert system for any pending storm, so they come out and they have to do a lot of training in that, and so we appreciate everything they do for us. So thanks, guys.
And I will tell you, they do a lot. The chief has told us several times, the events we do and the Pumpkin Festival, we couldn't pull off without their help. And later on in the meeting, we're going to be spending some money for the event center where the old church tore down. So we're going to have more events where we're going to need more auxiliary police. But thanks for all those coming, and thanks, Daniel, for going to Morton High School. That box, did you get it? Okay. All right, is there any public comments tonight? Anybody want to try to top that? Okay, if none, we'll go to the consent agenda as approval of the minutes. Regular meeting, May 7th, 2018. The closed session, May 7th, 2018. And the closed session, April 16th, 2018. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Just to add, there is approval of bills on the consent agenda.
Yes,
as well.
there
I don't
is.
think you mentioned that.
Call the roll.
Belsley,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have nothing tonight. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
I have two things on my agenda tonight, Your Honor. The first will be the May 2018 tourism grant recommendations, and Susan's going to enlighten us on those.
Okay, so in your package, you were given the group recommendation for the 2018 spring grant round. The Tourism Grant Committee met and rated these grants and have made these recommendations for your approval.
Motion.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Randy seconds. Any comments?
I thought it was important to note, just again, I think most folks are familiar with this, or most citizens maybe not, but the funds that support the program here come from our hotels and motels in the area. It's not something that comes from the taxes we create or anything like that. So it's rightfully so. The funds go back, and the emphasis is placed on supporting those events that create overnight stays and bring tourism or individuals into their community to spend funds
Correct.
on this. But I see the number of grants and the amounts that are awarded in that, but it is pretty significant that close to $100,000 was created again from our own businesses that in turn we're able to reward those events that support that activity. So just want to make mention of that. It's a great program. I'm not even sure. I know it's been in existence for a number of years now. Susan, do you know?
I would say at least 12.
Yeah, I know it goes back a ways. So it's a great program, supports a lot of good causes, and encourages a lot of revenue spent in our community.
Very good. And it's a cross-section of events,
Yeah, it is.
you know. Anybody else? Call the roll.
Lehman,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Belsley,
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have been in discussions with Susan Piles, Tourism, and the Chamber of Commerce, that we've had so many requests over the years to have more bands in the parade marching. So we will be coming back with some more grants for maybe $6,000, $7,000, I'm not sure, to help promote those bands. We've been working on it for a few months, got some good names, we just got to get them down to the date. So we will be coming back in the next couple of meetings, I hope.
Yes.
Might be take a little longer, so just want to make all of you aware of that. We're going to try to end that comment that we don't have bands marching. So,
Thank you.
thank you, Susan.
And the next item I have on my agenda tonight is Resolution 01-19, which is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a server.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Would you like to comment further?
Basically, what I'm asking for is to waive the formal bidding and authorize the purchase not to exceed $60,000. Currently, our server is over 5 years old. We had one drive in it fail last year. We were lucky in the fact that our IT company could find one in a used state because they don't make them new anymore. So what we're looking to do is replace that server, and I am hoping to go to a cloud version of all of our Office products, our email and our Word and Excel and those products that require a lot of data storage. And then that would free up a great deal of storage. So we could replace currently what we have pretty much as it is, but we would then gain about a third more storage without having to have that data on our server. So that's what I'm looking to do, but I want to get the prices narrowed down and everything, so.
And the life expectancy of what we have is short.
Yeah, they say a life expectancy of a server these days is 5 years. So this was included in the budget for this current fiscal year. I'm looking to spread the cost between the general fund and the utility funds. So it'll be a fourth to the general fund and a fourth to each of the three utility funds.
So this is similar to the phone system. It's actually coming out of our reserve utility funds because we are using utility office. So this does not come out of the general fund. Any other questions, comments? Call the roll.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Chief of Police,
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Corporation Counsel,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Fire and Emergency,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
I have several items tonight, Your Honor. And then before I start, these items were all discussed in the budget and are all within budget, just to preface that before I start. First is item A in front of you is acceptance of proposal from Utility Safety and Design Incorporated for external corrosion direct assessment in the amount of $24,020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Just a brief summary, and Scott Stidman, gas superintendent's here too, if you have any specific questions, but basically in summary, this is the inspection and survey. It's a very important task to determine the integrity of our 8-inch natural gas feeder line that comes into town. So this is a method we've been working. We have a contract with this company too annually. So this will at least allow us probably ease a lot of the concerns that our superintendent has probably on a daily basis. This is a critical part of our natural gas infrastructure.
And we do have the largest gas municipality in the state of Illinois.
I believe by meter count still,
Right.
correct, Scott?
Any other comments by the board? Call the roll.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, in front of you is item B. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the Adams Street reconstruction. This is from Main Street to First Street in the amount of $261,881.62 and award of contract for same to Illinois Civil Contractors Incorporated.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other comments you want to make?
I don't have a whole lot. This isn't a critical spot in town. We will be done. This will be several months, but by the festival. This is a critical spot there. But these prices were excellent on this project and well within budget.
What was the budget on that?
I think it was 400,000 is what we originally budgeted. Now that does include some inspection out there. Those amounts will be in that 20,000 range for that. So still will be, I would say, 100,000 below what we budgeted for this project. And this was concrete. We got a lot more bidders with concrete, so it was a very competitive bid.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item C. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the First Avenue improvements, Phase 2. This is from approximately Delwood Street to Birchwood Street in the amount of $508,930.54, and award of contract for same also to Illinois Civil Contractors Incorporated.
Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Again, this was well under budget. We were in the 700-some thousand for this project. This will complete actually multiple years of work here from Greenwood all the way to Birchwood. We did have a neighborhood meeting tonight, and I am encouraged every day by the cooperation from Ameren, and I would like to share that. We were able, the residents out there were very easy to work with, and they actually signed some overhang easements on the site several hours before this meeting tonight. So I just want to add that Ameren's doing a lot of work in this town and making significant investments, and they've really been a team player. There's sidewalk that we want to add along First Street, and we're able to move the poles back and work with the residents on site to be able to move them back and get overhang easements signed. So that's always encouraging for me to see the teamwork between the citizens and the utility company, so I wanted to add that.
Thank you. Any other comments by the board? Call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item D. I'd like to ask for permission to request bids for the East Jefferson Street, 3rd Avenue parking lot and event space reconstruction project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so discussion on this. This is the old space where the Apostolic Christian Church was in the parking lot. So this was discussed in detail previously. This is the one where we were going to budget $180,000 out of the tourism fund. So I'm asking for approval to request bids, but we have not finalized the design yet. So I'd like to spend the next couple weeks upon your approval to finalize the design. So if there's any questions tonight, I left an exhibit in there. Nate Parrott has worked on this some with us, provided some guidance with his experience as a landscape architect. So I'd be glad to answer any questions now or even in the next couple weeks, but from tonight I'd like to just move forward with the design of that. We'll ultimately come to you for approval of that project.
The approximate budget for phase 1 is 180?
180,000 is what we discussed previously and is in the budget. So we're going to work to stay below that.
That was seal coating the parking lot, restriping islands, trees, some infrastructure for next year's wiring, that boring sidewalk, and trees, park benches that were donated by the Morton Foundation.
Yes, there were some of those.
And we've been asked to add a bicycle rack to that.
And then how are we able to coordinate that or get use of that this year yet also, while we have work underway, or how does that?
We're going to try to coordinate the best we can with Leanne, Susan, whatever projects we have out there. But as we get into it, we'll communicate back, which we discussed. It may not be a perfect situation, but we're going to do our best there. Actually, the next item is going to add to that conflict that could happen there. But we've discussed that. We'll try to stay ahead of that the best we can.
But we're trying to get the infrastructure in so we can actively pursue this as an event center all year.
Right.
And my goal is to come back to you guys under 180,000. So even the items that we're discussing, trying to figure out what we can do in phase 1. Hopefully we can do all that with the competitive bids we've been seeing, but we'll try to make a good break there and get as much as we can for that amount.
If I had to say, I think the design looks like we were trying to be frugal with it, which is great. But at the same time, I think it looks really sharp. So I think it's at least the design from the design side, it looks great. So
You might notice Craig cut some of the blacktop out on Jefferson where the blacktop went right up to the sidewalk.
Mhm.
He said since the city owns it, we don't want people driving that close to people walking on sidewalks. So that's why there's green space and trees. So there's been a lot of meetings and a lot of effort to come up with something safe and for an event center.
Do you anticipate doing this with several bids, or just bidding a general contractor?
I intend to bid this with the next item, even the patching in the area, and do it all as one bid. is my goal. I think the prime will be enough of the concrete and all that, you know, the seal coating, the striping, that'll all be sub work. But my plan is just to do one bid. There could be some alternate bids in there. I'm not sure. I'm not a big alternate bid fan, but I think this might be a unique situation where we can see what those prices are as an a la carte type process. Did you have any recommendations on that?
Well, just some of the trees, the benches, those things, I would think.
Yes, actually with the trees, I'm glad you mentioned that. I think we're probably going to do the trees just as a separate, and we'll just manage that part of it. I think we'll just work directly with the contractor. We'll see what those costs are and probably come back to you guys on that. Hopefully that works within that budget, you know, not having to bid it, and maybe even my guys putting some of those trees in at the end. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, we were looking at doing some of that work and even the boring of some of the infrastructure.
Yes.
Them doing that work. So we were trying to cut the cost as much as we could, do it, but get it in so we're not tearing up blacktop or anything else in the future.
Yeah, some of the electrical stuff, I will add, you know, Scott and his crew do a lot of boring for us, so we may even bore in some of the conduit, which you've already done some out there, for the future electrical service too. So we plan to get involved and try to save as much money as we can there with stuff that we can do.
There might be some light pole bases in the island so we don't have to dig it up later after we got a tree planted. So they tried to think of it all. They just, we had a first and second motion then. All those, any other comments on that?
With the light poles, are we planning on LED? Is that?
Oh yeah, yeah. But those won't go up this year. I don't
Right.
anticipate we'll be
We're
able
just
to do
talking
that.
about the bases, so we're not doing the concrete and the
Gotcha.
conduit in the parking lot.
So when the
We're-
time comes.
Right.
Gotcha.
So if there's no other discussion, how about all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
All right, next is kind of related to this, budgeted for. This would be to get permission to request bids for the East Jefferson Street pavement patching project, and this is from First Street to Fourth Street. If you've driven down there, it's already painted pink. We've already kind of started that process, but with your approval, we'll finalize the design and go out for bid for this.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is item F. I'd like to ask for acceptance of proposal from All Service Contracting Corporation for our water treatment plant number 2 filter rehabilitation in the amount of $186,951.
Could I have a motion, please?
Second.
I would like to add, Superintendent Bob Burton was here. I asked him to come here tonight, also if there was some more detailed specific questions. But on plant number 2, we're well past the maintenance needed for our filters and softeners. And this is something, we've done some work previously in the past couple of years at plant number 1. So this is something we'd like to get going as soon as possible.
Any other comments or questions?
Has this company done work for the village previously?
Yes, and Bob could, yeah, 3,
This will be the third time we've employed.
yeah.
Use all service.
So yes, between Bob and I, we chose to work with this company. They've been really good to work with. So we'd like to go with them again. Now, that being said, this is definitely something we are not bidding. This is specific stuff with our equipment, and we'd like to continue working with this company.
Just a note on that, Craig, they are nationwide. They do a lot of work out in Washington DC and Kansas City. They go that way a lot.
Yeah. And they previously, last year, did work on plant number 1 and did a fabulous job.
They did that filter at like 3.
Just a point of order, it's not necessary to pass a resolution, I guess bypassing the competitive bidding process, or?
To bypass competitive bidding on let's see, what's the price on this contract again, Craig?
$186,951.
Yeah, we actually to bypass competitive bidding requires a supermajority vote. We do have some instances in which, via our policy, we have previously adopted policy, the board has authorized contracting for services without competitive bidding, and I don't remember offhand if this would fall within that exception or not.
Yeah.
In the absence of it falling within that exception, we are required to have a supermajority vote, and we'd be a trustee short tonight of a supermajority vote.
And this is something, I mean, we'd like to get started, but if we had to wait 2 more weeks, I don't think it would kill us on this one. But, you know, previously on those, and I worked with Tom also, but usually I like to even write specifically waive formal bidding and acceptance of proposal. So I could even change that next time too, but I don't know your thoughts on that, Pat.
I'd suggest not having reviewed the policy specific to this question, better safe than sorry, and since there isn't a 2-week time urgency, I'd suggest it'd be appropriate to table it.
Okay.
And
then I'll
that
work
way
with
we have
you to get the right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and then that would go to the next item too. We'll just put those together on the next one. Okay, that's all I have tonight.
You want to explain the second one? So,
Yeah, that would be basically same company. That'd be acceptance of proposal from All Service Contracting Corporation for plant number 2. This is for the softener rehabilitation in the amount of $148,762. So I separated them because they were 2 separate proposals, but pretty much together.
all right, so you'll bring those 2 back to the next meeting?
Yes. And actually, since we're talking about water, just one more item, if I could add. This week we did, I worked with the mayor to sign, we finalized our flushing. I was going to send an email out to all you. But we did sign and send back that we've completed all the tasks related to our compliance commitment agreement with the IEPA. So we've submitted that with a cover letter. So I think we've completed that, and we await for them to concur with that. With that, and Bob can add to this, but we're wanting to expedite some things going forward. So as I mentioned before about looking to do a facility study, I think we're at the point where we want to meet with the EPA, and I'm trying to set up a meeting here with the next couple of weeks. We're actually talking to different consultants, multiple consultants, to try to expedite some things with the IEPA on some of our things we've been working on the last year related to ammonia reduction and removal. And Ken can add to this. We've had some discussions, but I think we've honed in that that's what we, along with many others in the area, especially the Muhammad Aquifer, are dealing with, and we're ready with the EPA to expedite and see what we need to do next to eliminate that or reduce that at our plants.
All right. Thank you.
So I will be coming back to you guys fairly soon, or even by email giving you an update. But I think next week, trying to coordinate it, May 31st, we'll be down at the EPA, actually with 2 different consultants, Crawford, Murphy and Tilley, and Curry and Associates out of Nashville, with their experience with pilot projects of this sort with the EPA, to hopefully bring back something at the beginning of June to you guys on how we seek to proceed going forward, to get in a better place.
Okay, well, thank you. Planning and zoning officer.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village trustees, anybody have anything tonight?
One item tonight, Your Honor. I guess this is probably more of maybe a question, I guess, to maybe Julie might be able to help better answer. But with the start of the new fiscal year, something that's been kind of in question, and myself, and also just talking to some of the other trustees, just kind of wondering to know the overall health of the general fund. And just looking forward for especially this year, but for years going forward, just making sure that we're planning correctly. As we know, of course, in the board that, and as the mayor, of course, as well knows, that the general fund is very important and funds a lot. Julie, first off, what's some of the things that the general fund helps fund?
It funds all of the administration, of course. the police department, the fire department, the paramedics, the street department, and then we have Public Works Administration. Those are all, and besides the board, all those expenses come out of the general fund. Basically, everything that's not paid for by a utility bill comes out of the general fund other than tourism. So, in tonight's packet is the report for the fiscal year that just ended. Those numbers are preliminary. You know, they will be audited and probably adjusted somewhat. And also in there, I believe, may be a 10-year evaluation of all the balances and all the funds for those years, just in the cash balances. So, as you know, pretty much sales tax has been a flat item. We have not seen the decrease in it that I expected to see, so that is a good thing. Thinking about it, if you think, you know, we did lose Kmart, but we don't have the Macy's and the Bergners and that effect that you will see probably happen to Peoria, like we would, you know, had we had any of those big box stores here in Morton. So hopefully we will stay fairly stable as far as sales tax. It's not increasing drastically, but it's not decreasing either. But I can give you more of a report at the next meeting. I had planned on taking, that budget shows a surplus in the general fund for the fiscal year that just ended. We had budgeted to have a pretty significant deficit, so I would like to take some time and analyze that for you and give you an explanation of what went right in the budget so that it ended up being a surplus rather than a deficit. So I could probably do that for you at the next meeting. And we've, you know, Craig has pointed out several things that have come in significantly under budget. So if you would like, I could probably do an analysis to see where we might be had the budget been done knowing those numbers.
That'd be much appreciated. And I guess in partially, I guess my point is, you know, in hope that we have, of course, of good health, you know, in the budget or in the fund, but we of course want to make sure that we're if we're trying to appropriate with so many taxes and taxes remain flat, you know, it seems just from the outside looking in with this general trend that we're of course need to probably be watching our expenses in every way that we can. You know, there's no small amount that doesn't matter. Right. And you know, I think it goes to the point where every dollar does. So, but yeah, further analysis would be much appreciated. Okay. Maybe next meeting we can further address. Yeah, that'd be great. Glad to. And one thing that I guess with that, you know, saying that sales tax, you know, has been flat, and I guess partially I think is it safe to say probably online retail is, you know, has hurt not just our community, probably a lot of communities where we don't see the sales tax in those areas.
You're right. And I do receive some information from the state of Illinois, which I am not allowed to divulge, but as to specific areas, as you know, sales are pretty healthy in Morton still. You know, we're pretty fortunate that I think people do shop still locally, and you know, just need to encourage everyone to continue to do that.
I appreciate saying that. That's in the conversation I was actually going to bring in. She was actually here tonight. It was Leanne with the EDC. But it's an encouragement to everyone in the community is to always think twice, is how I believe how she worded it. You know, if there is a way to be able to purchase locally, you know, and still of course be cost effective, you know, to always, you know, think twice and before you make that purchase, because it does affect us significantly in this town. We all love the things that you know, that the general funds help support, but as we of course make those purchases online, if we're not seeing those, you know, in town, it becomes more and more important. And I believe if we all make a community effort in the area, I believe we could all make a difference.
I agree.
Just so the public knows, when you use Peoria for example, if you buy in the store, it's a 9% sales tax. If you buy online, it's a 6.25 sales tax. And that is even at the Lowe's, Menards, big box stores. When you buy, it's just not Amazon. It's if you buy there. So if you buy in the store in Peoria, if you spend $100, $9 of the tax, $5 goes to the state of Illinois, $2.75 goes to Peoria, 75 cents to Peoria County. and 50 cents to the county schools. Probably have to put this on the screen sometimes, but if you buy $100 online, $5 goes to the state of Illinois, they still get theirs. And the city of Chicago gets 25 cents. The city of Peoria gets 9 cents. Peoria County gets 3 cents. So online buying, they project cost the city of Peoria $4 million last year. So we, hopefully we can support our stores locally. Because that online buying, and I think most people don't really even do it because of the sales tax, but I know we bought a rug from Lowe's online with 6%. I checked the bill after we had a mayor's meeting. I told my wife, when that bill comes out, I want to see it. It was 6%. If we'd bought it in the store, it'd been 9%. But what I didn't realize was it's just not Amazon. It's all the big box stores are getting so big online that by the way it's set up with the state, it goes to the 6% sales tax. Isn't that interesting? But Chicago gets something out of everything the Morton citizen buys online. The city of Chicago gets 25 cents, 0.25%.
So that's one thing you need to compare too. If you're going to buy groceries, if you buy them in Peoria, you're paying 9%. And if you buy them in Morton, you're paying 7%. So just 2% doesn't sound like a lot, but over the span of a year, it adds up.
You know, for the whole year of groceries, it would.
Right.
So please shop Morton. Anything else?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
If not, we do need a closed session.
2 closed sessions on our agenda. First is closed session under 5 ILCS 120/2C2 to discuss collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or their representatives. And a second pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1 to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the village.
Could I have a motion for executive session?
Second.
Motion is second. Call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Kaufman.
Yes.
Motion passes.